If you open a browser window right now and type in the address worldofruneterra.com, you'll be redirected to the Riot Games recruitment page where they proudly and boldly state they are making an MMO. A brand new MMO being made by a company worth $26 billion, set in the League of Legends universe, a universe that has so far seen 115 million League of Legends players and 75 million Runeterra players. I think it's safe to say this is going to be big. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. I'm Josh Drive-Hayes. The MMORPG is probably the riskiest genre of game to make if you want to make a profit. They are incredibly complicated to design from the ground up, both from a game design perspective and then a networking infrastructure point of view. They are phenomenally expensive to actually get off the ground. They have an incredibly high failure rate. When an individual or a company starts designing an MMORPG, chances are that game will never even see the light of day. Project Copernicus cost $75 million to design and never released. World of Darkness was in production under CCP Games, aiming to turn the Vampire the Masquerade world into an MMO. Cost millions, never released. Stargate Worlds, an MMO based on the Stargate franchise, in development, even went into beta, eventually folded in on itself. Hell, even Blizzard back in 2013 were working on a global shooter MMO codenamed Titan, which eventually got scrapped and repurposed as Overwatch. MMOs are risky, and more often than not, they lose a lot of money. So a company announcing an MMORPG is a massive risk, but I think in Riot's case, the League of Legends MMORPG has one massive advantage that people always seem to forget: brand recognition. I don't personally like League of Legends. I played it in order to get footage for this video and to understand the world a bit better, but I do not like the gameplay. But it's not about whatever I personally do or don't like. It's about the practical necessities of making an MMORPG, and I think that they are going to be able to do this. So let's take a look into the history of and talk about the League of Legends MMORPG. And to answer your question, yes, I did go and buy this mug specifically for this video. It is full of my own salty tears from being forced to play League of Legends. Marvel at my fantastic gameplay used as background footage. Before we jump into this, consider dropping a like on the video or subscribing to the channel for more MMO stuff. Ringing the bell lets you know when there's a new video out, and as usual, a massive thank you to the Patreon supporters and Twitch subs who keep the channel going. More on how you can support at the end. For now, let's begin. There isn't much actual information out on the League of Legends MMO yet. They're still in the recruiting stage. We know that they're making one, so in this video I want to answer a few questions. What is League of Legends? Why do most brand new MMOs fail? What do the successful MMOs have that the failures don't? And ultimately, do Riot Games have everything they need to make a League of Legends MMO actually work? So let's get answering. League of Legends is a free-to-play top-down view PvP game where teams of 5 players battle another team of 5 players on a square map. Each team starts in a corner of the map at their base, and they have to try and destroy the other team's base. During the game, you can kill small AI-controlled enemies called minions to gain money and experience, then use the money to buy stuff from the shop at your base. You can also fight and kill the other players, and if you are killed, you'll respawn at your base after a short cooldown. The bases have turrets defending them, so you'll really need to coordinate an attack with your team to win. A solo charge usually won't work. League of Legends is one of the most played games in the world. In fact, according to Wikipedia, it still ranks above World of Warcraft in the most played games list. While League of Legends is a PC game, there is a mobile-specific version called Wild Rift, which again has seen millions of downloads. League of Legends is considered one of the world's leading esports, and you only need to look at the competition pictures to see how serious they are. League has packed out stadiums, had televised matches, has dedicated sports commentators, professional teams, professional players, and the players themselves are treated like celebrities within the esports scene, and they earn big money, with the top players in the world often earning upwards of $500,000 per year. League of Legends is big. So it's an incredibly successful video game, but That's not the only string to Riot Games' bow, or the League of Legends universe. They also released Legends of Runeterra, which was a collectible card game similar to Magic the Gathering. Legends of Runeterra has also been downloaded and played about 75 million times. So again, another extremely successful offshoot of the League of Legends franchise. By expanding the League of Legends universe into the card game landscape, they captured even more players. If you weren't interested in the MOBA gameplay of League, you could still enjoy the card game Legends of Runeterra, and the locations, characters, items, and attack names were becoming popular outside of the game. Because League of Legends features so many characters, cosplayers were flocking to it. Fan artists loved it. If you go to any gaming convention or Comic-Con, you will probably see someone dressed up as a League of Legends character, and it will probably be a girl dressed as Jinx. So they've had two hit games, League of Legends itself and then Legends of Runeterra, and now they're talking about making an MMO RPG based in the Runeterra world. I mean, they've got the history, they've got the lore, they've got the characters, they've got the story, they've got the money, they've got the development team behind them, but they've also got probably the single most important factor that a brand new MMORPG needs to launch successfully. They have got brand recognition. When a new MMO releases, there's always a surge of interest in it at the start, and then it dies down pretty quickly. People return to what they were playing before, people realise the hype wasn't worth it, or, and this is something people don't often realise, the culture of the game doesn't exist outside of the game. It has no pop culture footprint, no social groups you can connect with, you don't feel like you're part of something as you play it. Older MMOs could stand up on the strength of the MMO genre itself being new and exciting. The novelty of the gameplay alone was enough. EverQuest was this amazing third-person 3D adventure. Meridian 59 was the first 3D first-person MMO. The virtue of being new was enough. But now we have loads of MMOs, and to succeed as an MMO, a game needs to be more. It needs to be more than just a game, it needs to be involved in popular culture as a franchise. Look at Warcraft. It was a real-time strategy game first, so when it launched as an MMO, it had an established player base to tap into. It had a serious boost of players on day one waiting for it. Warcraft was a best-selling PC game before it was an MMO, and the World of Warcraft launch allowed Blizzard to establish WoW not only as a game but as an icon of popular culture. With toys, TV adverts, merchandise, celebrity endorsements, BlizzCon, and eventually a blockbuster film, Warcraft existed outside of just the MMO. Since that South Park episode, you could say World of Warcraft to someone and they knew what it was. How about the Elder Scrolls Online? Before it launched as an MMO, it had the Elder Scrolls franchise. Morrowind was amazing. Oblivion gave us memes. We all bought Skyrim about 5 times. There are books and concerts and cosplayers. The Elder Scrolls is a fantasy franchise, not just an MMO game. The Elder Scrolls Online is a very good MMO, but beyond that, it taps into the enfranchised players and has a captive audience of dedicated Elder Scrolls fans. I mean, look at Final Fantasy XIV. It has the might and funding of the Final Fantasy name behind it. I mean, the first version of FF14 actually failed so hard they had to rebuild it and re-release it as a Realm Reborn. Any other company would go bankrupt if that happened. A small studio would never be able to recover from that kind of setback. Launching an MMO and having it fail is normally a death sentence for a company. But FF14 had the franchise recognition and enough money to basically throw a phoenix down over itself and try again. Even RuneScape, a relatively small MMO, actually started out on Miniclip, meaning it was given the advantage of all the Miniclip traffic being exposed to it. It was on the Miniclip homepage. It started with an audience already built for it. If you're still unsure of how powerful brand recognition is, consider this. Imagine if Lord of the Rings Online was not branded as Lord of the Rings. Imagine if exactly the same game released with the same mechanics, the same graphics, the same everything, but it wasn't related to Lord of the Rings. Would you still play it? Would anyone still play it? Would it have still survived, or would it just be another generic fantasy MMORPG that arrives, has a small boost of players at the start, and then slowly dies off? I truly believe if Lord of the Rings Online was not Lord of the Rings branded, no one would care about it anymore. It would have come and gone. It would have failed. Having a pre-established player base, having a pre-established franchise, able to immediately boost your game when it releases, is an incredible advantage. Having a pop culture footprint is an advantage that money can't even buy. That's how many people are going to flock to your game. You're going to have advertising forever from the regular League of Legends or Legends of Runeterra game. People are going to play those games, as hundreds of millions of people already have, and then someone's going to say, hey, why don't you come and play the MMORPG version of this game? The League of Legends MMO will release to a pre-established player base larger than any other MMORPG in history. I'm not going to say it's the WoW killer. I'm not going to say it's going to succeed, because they could still mess it up. It could still be crap. But I think it's genuine to say they are launching their game with the biggest advantage you could possibly have. Along with franchise recognition, which will guarantee they not only start with a load of players but have continuous advertising forever, Riot Games has money. A lot of money. Making a small MMO will set you back several £1,000,000. The larger scale games, like The Elder Scrolls Online or Final Fantasy XIV, cost in the hundreds of millions, and Riot Games' net worth currently is $26 billion. To put that into perspective, Blizzard's net worth, separate from its Activision parent company, is around $22 billion. Riot Games have made one of the most successful MOBA games, one of the most successful video games of all time, and they have added on one of the most successful card games of all time. They have one of the largest player bases, the most recognizable franchises, and the money needed to make this work. I get many people messaging me on Discord, YouTube or Twitter telling me they're making an MMO, normally all by themselves. Do I have any advice? And my advice is, unless you are already a successful games company with money to burn, don't. The MMO is the most difficult, most risk-heavy type of game to make. You need millions of potential players, millions of pounds to make it, and millions to advertise it constantly. And Riot Games have all of those things and more. A League of Legends MMO could theoretically, and most likely practically, actually do very well. A while ago I made a video called So You're Making an MMORPG, and I listed 5 things in that video that I believe it's essential to have if you want to launch a successful MMO in today's gaming climate. The first one was money, and yes, Riot Games have got a hell of a lot of this. Time. You need a couple of years. Well, they've got time, they can take as long as they need. You need to have a dedicated, sizable team of people to delegate jobs to, and they are hiring for this. You need to have a history of producing already high-quality games, and they've got that with 2 games. And then you need to have a pre-established player base wanting and ready for your game to release, and they have definitely got that. They have everything they need. Now, I don't want to set expectations high, and I never board the hype train. I've always said, disregard the hype train, board the realistic expectations bus. Takes longer to get where you're going, but you always get to the right place. But they do have everything they need to make this a world-class MMORPG. If they don't mess this up, they have got every step already covered. I think a League of Legends MMORPG has got the potential to join the big boys of the MMO world. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Would you play it? Have you got a character you already want to be? Or do you think this is a terrible idea? Let me know. I will be watching this project with great interest, and I hope they can pull it off. Thank you for watching. Another big thank you to the supporters on Patreon and Twitch who keep the channel going. You can support this channel from only £1 a month. Check the video description for links to the Patreon, Twitch, Twitter, Discord, and our new subreddit. And as always, have a great day.